Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eddie Marcus again, and I'm here because I got something good to say. It's nothing new, it's just a reminder. You know, over these periods of years, I've shared information with you that seems to be repetitive. And why is it? Because it is. And sometimes you need to be reminded of it. And here's one. I have been given information that the whole earth, when I say whole earth, I'm talking about as much of it as we know, where people inhabits, it's been relegated to the status of hell. Now, when I say relegated, as this conversation goes, it wasn't intentionally meant to be this, but a place where it could be heavenly. Instead, we got a deceptive idea, and it is the thing that spread, and all over the earth is hell. Now, to get you to understand that, I shared with you, and I'll share with you again, is that the old earth is split up. It's a hell, but it's split up as different rooms, different rooms. And then what happens by this split up, different rooms, it indicates places where people have been given different lies, been deceived in different ways. For instance, Russia got a room and it got its own lies. It's nothing, it's evil, it's the devil, it's hell, it's Russia. They got their own little things over there now. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody over there is committed to that. When I say committed to it, I mean putting gas in it. But they're nonetheless supporting it because they're not doing anything to change it. And the reason that they're not doing anything to change it is because they're not empowered to do the things to change it. They got the information, but don't have the power. Happens in a room in China. China has a room in hell. North Korea got a room in hell. America got a room in hell. But now the lie that you have been told is the lie that you believe. The Russians been given a lie that they totally believe. There are people there that don't like it. North Korea, they've been given a lie. They but totally believe. China has been given a lie. America has been given a lie that have brought us up from the day of the cradle. And we have infested with that lie all throughout our being. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that includes humanity. We are all devils. Now that might be a big word because the devil might seem to have a lot of power. So put it all together, and that's the devil. But we all got a role in this devil's nest. Now, none of us can brag and boast about anything. Because the truth of the matter is that we're really no better than the other. We just got a different lie. And we're perpetuating that lie like we got to live on it. Now, everywhere you've been given that lie, in your jurisdiction, in your room, those who believe that lie to the fullest, they believe it to the fullest. It is the gospel. That lie is the gospel. And you over there telling your folks this is divine, this is the greatest, and over here everybody's telling you they're supporting their lie. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is all a lie. It's just all a lie. Now, you may say, well, how did God do this? Everybody got living lies. What's God gonna do about that? Okay, I'll tell you how that works. How does the truth get introduced? How does the truth get introduced to the people? Well, let me start here in America because I don't go beyond over there. I don't really know all that other stuff in other places of the world, but it's significant here in America. In America, and I would agree that maybe all over the world, people have been given opportunities. And certain opportunities have been recorded without the lies, and some got the lies, but you don't know which has the lies and which has the greatest lies. So you study books. Don't like. Let me just use America. We talk. Let's use the Bible. We say this is our roadmap out. Now I want to tell you about the Bible, as far as it has been given to me. The Bible is a book that is representing His story. Now I'm not just saying back yonder. I'm saying it is the story of another. The Bible is the story of another's relationship or non-relationship with a higher power of life. That's all it is. A history. It is not your story. It is not your story. It is not your story. Your story is your story, but you got to find your story. You got to discover your story. Can you discover your story? With some help, you can. See, what God does is throughout this hell, every now and then, when it's appropriate for God to do it, God finds someone who have given up on life or not, but is usable for the purpose of God's love being spread across. Now, for me, I just tell for me. Now, I think you heard me say something about it in some of my most recent posts. Life is very cherishable to me. And I believe I will say, you couldn't beat me in the things that I engaged myself in. I was no fool, I didn't think. I wouldn't go out and try to do stuff that was going to just automatically kill me. But I did make some choices that would have automatically killed me if I had believed it. But my faith would not allow me to believe it. And I delved in those challenges anyway. Later to find out that the only reason I'm here today, even then, is because of a miracle. Now, what are miracles for? Miracles are to enlighten people about something they never knew. Even in history, the blind man, all of a sudden, by application, was able to see. Now, I mean, can you challenge that? A man that has never been, that's been bedridden all his life, now can get up and walk. Even they say a dead man can rise. I don't know if he was literally dead or just dead in his mind and spirit, but supposedly his story said it changed. Now, for me, and here in the message that I want to share with America, because I don't want to use me right now because you wouldn't understand me, looks like I'd be tripping. But in America, one of the men, now there were many men working together who believed. I say believed, they didn't know, but they believed. And there was one man that had been received a miracle in America. And his name was Dr. Martin Luther King. He's not the only one, but he was the one. Now, when Martin Luther King was done, he became a light of God's love in the midst of the hell in the United States of America. He became a light of truth, a light of love in the midst of this hell in America. But there's so much hell. What was the purpose for? To help us to grow, to help us to see, to show us how this thing works, to show us how to be involved, and to stand up, to believe, and not only believe, but have the faith to go beyond belief. And what was the message that America got from the life of Dr. King? He is the most dangerous man in the country. Now, why is he the most dangerous man in the country? Because he brought enlightenment to the world. Not just America, but to the world. And, hey, that ain't what it's about in America. That's not what it's about in Russia. They got a guy in Russia right now that God has raised up to stand up against that hell over there. But he's in prison, I understand. And I'm sure the same thing is happening in China. It's happening all over where God has risen somebody up. It ain't happened to me yet because I ain't got enough God in me yet. I ain't had enough sacrificing yet. But anyway, that's the process. So America says Dr. King and his God got to go. They murdered him. Now, God knew that. Dr. King knew that. Jesus knew that. Everybody that lives by the Spirit of God and God's love know they're going to be killed. If the world doesn't change, they're going to be killed. Now, why are they killed? They are killed as an expression to the people around them. You see what these people represent? You know that Dr. King represents God. And what happened? They murdered him. What does that say? He is a child of God. Now, what is that about? To touch you. To touch you. Some of you did. Some of you started to stand up a little bit and do certain things that would represent it, that you had some enlightenment. But if the nation there stays there, nothing has happened. You build a statue for Dr. King, maybe you won't forget that he lived. Sometimes in the future, he might be a part in a book. His story might be there. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. We need our story, fed by the story of God, the truth. And you ain't getting no truth. You think you in love with somebody. You try to kiss them, they push you away. Get out of my face. Why you kissing me? Why you push me away? Because see, that's hell. That's pure D hell. That's when you find yourself sitting up in a room talking to yourself, laughing with yourself, because you got nobody to talk to, nobody to laugh with. That's pure D hell. Now, you know what I'm talking about. All of you who go through this, and mostly every married couple I ever known goes through this. Every church that's different from the other goes through this. Everything that's a little bit different goes through this kind of stuff, challenges, because everybody just think they're the right ones. And the right ones are the ones that really go down, give their life of love for you. That's the right one. The one that keeps coming to you saying, I love you. Get out of the way. That's the one that's Putin. Somebody say, you don't love me because you don't do what I tell you to do. God said, I am the light. I am the way, the truth. So we get caught up in all this stuff. So I just wanted to take a moment because I heard something on the news this morning about Russians and how most folks are saying, perhaps, that the Russians really are not for this war, that this is Putin's war. But I heard another person who are familiar with that area, who are familiar with the philosophy and the teachings of the people, that 80% of the people there are strictly supporting Putin because they told him a lie, like over in Ukraine, they're fixing some kind of disease or whatever and giving it to a bird, and the bird fly over Russia and find out certain people, can identify certain people of certain ethnicity, and then cause them sickness and death. And that's the most ludicrous kind of stuff a person could ever imagine, but they're doing it. They're doing it. So I chose my friends and sisters and brothers to take this opportunity to stand before you and to share this with you, in that you might be on the line that you can see this a little bit clearer. But I want to say it again. Don't you think just because you're a Methodist, Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, on Church of God, all these, I'm talking about America now, I'm not going back, I don't have to go over there now. Don't you think just because you're all of these different faiths, and you're different, you're all talking about the same God, and your state, your nation, America is full of hell. How many churches? Too many. And it's full of hell. Now that should tell you something. Your people going to church, you go home and get on your knees and don't go back. Ask God to give you a story to tell. Ask God to show you the way. Because this coming together, listen to somebody tell you about his story is doing nothing for now story. So ladies and gentlemen, take it for what it's worth. Love it or hate it, it's what God has given me. And I say salute.